Evening. How you all doing? I hope you're well. Naturally Fed here. Just wanted to welcome you to this live stream when Fed met Psio, one of our speakers at the summit, this coming summit on the 12th of March for the Naturally Fed Spring summit, so for the spring equinox. So amazing to have you here. I'm just waiting for Psio to add to come along to the stream. At the same time, I just wanted to obviously tell you a little bit of the journey getting here and why these summits are happening and what's the magic behind it. And it all comes from really my passion for learning and connecting, some of the amazing things that I've been able to experience, through naturopathy, through neuro-linguistic programming, through my yoga training and working with the chakras, and of course nutrition, and having a passion for everything that is natural, the natural world, animals, herbs, plants. And I absolutely love to learn and to put myself out there and to share that knowledge. And indeed, the Naturally You system has come out of that. So that's where I put together these opportunities to basically share that, and that knowledge is all organized around 7 secrets that are all working together to give a base for us to experiment and learn from. And indeed, the summits and the full moon ceremonies are all in line with that. So it's bringing in that opportunity for people to connect and plug in their knowledge, their resources, and to share, and of course for us to get in touch with the speakers and to learn from them, so that we keep adding pieces to this amazing jigsaw that is our health and well-being, especially when it comes from a natural perspective, from a natural point of view. And yes, indeed, Psio is one of the amazing people that I've had the pleasure of coming across. And when if I tell you just a little bit about the story, basically, it just came up as a Facebook recommendation, and I just added him, as I do with many other people, just the opportunity to connect with people, because there was something magnetic, something that inspired me, and we struck a conversation, and it was just this opportunity, to exchange. And when we had this appointment, I thought we were going to have a quick chat, getting to know each other, and what instead it turned out to be was Psio telling me that the best way to get to know him was for him to do what he does, which is numbers. And we spent 2 hours on the phone with him reading my numbers, so from my name and from my date of birth. The knowledge, the power of my name was just insane information that he was sharing with me. And basically, we ended up having this amazing conversation, and I've invited him to come out along on the summit and the full moon ceremonies. Indeed, let me just check, because I just got a message from Psio. 2 seconds, and 2 seconds. Okay, just making sure that the link to get onto this one is working. Okay, perfect. So basically, we ended up connecting, and indeed, Psio is one of the speakers coming to grace us with his presence at the summit, and making sure that we are having the opportunity to learn from these amazing speakers. We will be doing lives with all the other speakers as well. So tune in, you will see the notifications come up, and the events going live over the next week and a half, before the summit. And again, if you haven't put it in your calendar, make sure that you do that you firm up the 12th of March. We start at 9 o'clock in the morning. The program is already on the website. Let me just add a little banner here so that you can go and have a look at this web address, which is naturallyfed.co.uk/spring, and you'll find all the information there about the program for the day and all the speakers that are joining us. And indeed, here is Psio. How are you doing, Psio?
I'm very well, thank you very much.
Amazing. So I just started telling people how I got to this point, and our forthcoming summit, indeed, that will be rolling out on the 12th of March, and how we met as well. So this crazy connection from Facebook, but. Let's find out a little bit more about you. What is your journey? How did you end up here working with numbers?
Not a conventional journey, because I wouldn't say I was a natural mathematician. In fact, I didn't like maths at school. So it wasn't the counting and measuring side of numbers that was appealing. It was the symbolic side. So my route into numerology, or what is termed as numerology, I call it numerolinguistics, was the symbolic properties. My pathway really started with the conventional things, all the mystery things, astrology, the zodiac signs when you're a kid growing up. I was very privileged. I'm part of a big family unit, so I got an opportunity to practice my astrological skills on all my family members, and then my extended family, and then all my friends, which then took me down the route of tarot. So I have this real deep love of tarot, but it's more the development of consciousness, the development of the human nature and the human psyche, the philosophical side of tarot that I was really, really drawn to. And in particular, what brought those magic cards to life. So it was the number for me. For some people, it's astrology, but it was the number for me. And again, the number is astrological, it's Kabbalistic, and obviously it's very symbolic. So it was those living numbers that brought those cards alive that were very appealing. So I basically devoured everything, every subject matter on numbers and number systems that were available. Developed, I had a natural acumen, obviously very intuitive. These are things you kind of really need, because you have to kind of extend from yourself and not be blocked in by your own limitations. And then start seeing number as an art form, and pretty much that's what it really is. It's an art form. Reading and interpreting numbers is like reading and interpreting any language. And numerolinguistics, or numerology, is that it's the voice, it's the language of number. And when you see that everything around you is numbered, or everything's veiled in numbers, the mysteries of life sort of unravel and unfold before your eyes, and it becomes very interesting.
Amazing. So what is the kind of approach when you have people like me coming to you, and I've seen this already because I've seen it last night, and I know people flock around you the moment you start talking. And actually, no, I'd have to say, I think you start even before meeting someone. The moment that someone speaks their name, you already go into number mode. Okay, so tell us, what is this energy of the name that you're going to be talking to us about during the
First of
summit?
all, it's called a fixation and an obsession, and then an addiction. I've got an obsession and a fixation. Well, when you look at a piece of art, or you listen to a piece of music, there's something very entrancing and hypnotic about it. And people are just that. People are like art. People are like songs. They're like melodies. And a name, which is a living energy in itself, is the way in which you express yourself. There's two forms of numbers, you see. There's the numbers that you get naturally from your date of birth that occur. These are coordinates. These are coordinates of your life. Again, this is all built on your perception, whether you believe this or not, but I've just seen too much and practiced too much and had too much experience for me to ever doubt it. But your date of birth is like a set of coordinates, a trajectory that steers you, that shapes and forms experiences through which you experience life. And then the name, which then translates into a series of figures, which can be interpreted then, become the vehicle through which you experience this journey. And it governs many things. I mean, generally speaking, it breaks down into kind of three formats: the expression, every name has an expression, what it is, and then the vowels, the emotive side, what it wants, and then the consonants, the influence and impact on the environment and how others see you, so which determines the way you look, the way you dress, and how others perceive you. You don't really notice that. It's the bit that you project outwards. So when I'm listening to a name, especially because I've got this thing about unusual names, like my own name, for example, isn't I wasn't born with this name. I was born with a conventional name, if you like, but I found that something wasn't quite working, so I altered it and introduced characteristics that I felt that would aid me on my own particular personal journey. So when I hear a name and I hear the song, immediately I want to break it down. I think people find it fascinating because everyone really deep down kind of wants to know what makes them tick.
So when it comes to some of the energy then that as you said, we all have, whether there's the consonants, the vowels, we all have this energy that all these numbers are bringing to our life. I think one thing that you did was you explained to me about how our name is our personal mantra. How can we use this energy? How can we make sure that it's working to our advantage, and what can we do when that is not working?
It's right. Whatever your practices are, everything boils down to energy. Everything is energy. With a name, because each of the letters that are represented in a name have a dynamic, they're like little personas, like little personalities, and they have qualities and traits. Once you understand that in a name, when all these components come together, break down and form a particular type of energy that is saying a particular thing, has a particular message, has a particular emotive, and a particular influence. Once you understand this, you can configuratively unlock your potential, because these particular energies denote qualities and strengths, but also highlight some deficiencies or some shadows. As a culture, we tend to sweep things under the carpet or bury our heads. But when you really know yourself inside and out, I mean, this is the philosophical proverb of the ages: know thyself. Once you actually know yourself and know your workings, then you can rise to any challenge, break limitations, come out of old debilitating habits. There's so many useful things you can do. But more importantly, once you understand there's certain ways you can use your name. Obviously, you have your first name, you have your first and surname, and then you have your first name. And if you're fortunate enough to have middle names or multiple middle names, you can configure them and use them in such a way that you get different effects. And this is why it's very important what we call ourselves, whether we use our shortened names. For example, if you're called Alexander or Alexandra and you're called Alex, it's knowing the difference between the two energies. If you're called Michael, Mickey, it's knowing the difference between what those energies, what those names are actually saying. So when you know the power of each name, you know how to then use it, because your name then, like you said, is your own personal mantra. And mantras are manifestations, are sound that influence and affect the environment that we find ourselves in.
Amazing. So, without stealing your thunder, because obviously we want to make sure that people are going to come and learn from you at the summit as well. Tell me a little bit more about, away from the knowledge, which obviously you will be sharing with us. If people wanted to work with you, what sort of work do you do with people individually?
It's threefold. It's like any kind of package. The first thing is always you. It's person-centered. So you come to me, and I will. It breaks down to three things: exploration, revelation, evolution. So, we take a name, we look at a date of birth, we look at the coordinates, we look at the journey, we break it down into pinnacles, we look at the main markers so we know you're heading in the right direction, which is inevitable because we're all heading in the right direction. Otherwise, there's resistance. And then we look at the name and we break it down, we strip it back, its anatomy. So we got all the fundamental key components, the core energies, and then we work out how best to use it. So that's normally my first package. The second package can tend to be if there needs to be an evolution. There's some things that, there's no amount of therapy, there's no amount of working and, working on workshops and projects that are really going to make too difference, because we soon slip back into character. We soon slip back into debilitating habits, because we are creatures of fundamental routines. And more importantly, as I keep on saying, our numbers are like songs, our names are like songs, and they're songs that we just perpetually dance to. And until we're aware of certain things, we're going to keep on doing play, repeat, rewind. There are particular energies, because energies or numbers are like colors, and there's certain colors that work well, and there's certain colors that clash. It's like music. There's some music that's in harmony, and there's some music that's in discord, and people are no different. And you'll find a lot of people are very what's the word here? Contradictory. So we're always looking at ways of evening things out and bringing balance. So if I'm working with somebody and we're looking at a whole name and we're exploring ideas and we're exploring their mantra, so to speak, if there are some things that we can improve on or we can work on and shape change, then I'll invite people back in and we can create name design. Name design it goes down the geometrical route, because we can expand and build on quality, on what's already there existing, or if things need to be changed, we can remove and then add and tweak. So that's another offering. And then I do something called number therapies, because basically there's us and what we're doing and our transits. there's the relationships that we form, not only with our friends and our, our intimate ones, but also our professional and working ones. And then there's careers as well. It's surprising how sometimes even late in life, still really kind of flummoxed about the direction they're moving in, and they're not pursuing dreams, and they're clinging on to what they feel is security, but it really is just causing frustration and friction. So I look at developing some ideas and exploring avenues for shaping change and creating new opportunities, breaking down borders and opening up vistas to new frontiers.
So I think, am I right in saying as well that when we're working with numbers and in some of the work that you do beside the name design with people, there might be sometimes energy that is not working in our favor when it comes to, for example, the house number that we live in, or the name that we give into our business, or or even the day that our child is going to be born, or the day that we choose for us to get married. Do you work with this sort of a context?
Yes, it all comes into right with the name. Generally, there's who you are, there's what you are, and there's why you are, but there's also when you are and where you are. I'm inundated with people saying, "Oh, I really resonate with this number, and this number follows me around." It's the day I got married, it's the hotel room, it's the booking reservation, and this is quite commonplace. Numbers do follow people around, and yes, numbers wield an influence that has an effect in the world around us. There's certain numbers that determine certain types of career. And yes, you're right. There are certain numbers, and this is what as well as naming people or pets, I also create business names and brand names as well, because there are particular energies that are favorable. Obviously you create energies that are fit for purpose. You don't want something that's light and fluffy that's going to be something used in a practical sense, because it's not going to be long lasting. But if you're working in people related services, then you're going to want to have energy that are people related, that are approachable, warm, expressive. So yes, I tailor make bespoke names and sounds and energies, or mantras, if you like, for businesses and products, and also, like I said, people and pets. It's quite an interesting little project.
Amazing. So a little bird tells me that beside obviously the amazing opportunity to learn from you at the summit, you might be working on something else. Is that right?
I've got so many things on the go at the moment. I've got a couple of things I'm working on. I'm working on this prototype naming branding studio, and I'm also, and this is my own personal pet project, was a baby naming studio. Just specific. I mean, if you're going to get a name right, the name is the most valuable, most important thing you will ever own or ever wear. And the place you want to get that right is at birth. So I'm trying to create a studio where I can, obviously, what I do is quite niche. It's still remotely rare and unknown. I mean, there was a time in history where this was quite vogue, and then it kind of went off, because there are always trends to these things, and become, science took over and people become a lot more dismissive and skeptical. But all of a sudden people are losing sight of those things, and they're going back into the past again, because, some of the old ways are the best ways. So there's been a lot of interest in what I do, and there's a lot of interest in what I can offer. And yes, I've got a considerable amount of children I've been invested in where I've named them. And it's something that I enjoy doing. It's a very beautiful thing. It's an amazing experience to share with parents, expecting parents as well. So that's something I'm working on. And what you're alluding to is these little workshops I will be setting up, where I can also instruct, teach, show, and pass on the baton for future neurolinguistics to spread the light. So hopefully that's something that's going to be coming up in the near future.
That's absolutely amazing. So this is an opportunity for people to learn this art, which I'm sure it will be quite a task to match, because I think that you're quite unique and amazing at what you do. But indeed, it's always good to share that opportunity for people to take on, these practices and take them places, that sometimes we can't ourselves do. So I'm sure that we'll be hearing from you more when you're ready to get those out. I'd like to renew the invite if everyone is interested in the summit and to learn more from Psio, we've got the little banner scrolling across the bottom there, just telling us about the registration, which is naturallyfed.co.uk/spring. When you join, the registration is absolutely free for the summit. Once you register, you get as well into our sequence, so that you're going to be getting a lot of not a lot, you're going to get notifications of when the summit is taking place, when we're about to start. There's offers from our amazing speakers as well. If you want to renew your offering with people that are watching, what can they do following the
for people that are sitting on the summit, if people are interested in sitting with me, because I've had a few people since I did the last talk trying to get in touch to try and book a session in, but hour-long sessions are quite sought after, I even say so myself. But if anyone is prepared to come listening to the summit, I'll offer them a £10 discount off one of the sessions. So
absolutely
to be sniffed at.
amazing. So I know that as much as people think this is an elite opportunity, I can guarantee you Psio is not an expensive therapist to go to. There's a lot of knowledge that has come from the time that I spent with him, and I would recommend to literally go and sit with him and to be told really about yourself. There's so much power and learning that we can do just by looking within ourselves, and this is really the opportunity that I'd like to suggest for people to try out. So make sure that you register free of charge for the summit.
I just wanted to add the talk that I'm going to be giving on the 12th, this is practical numbers. This isn't something that you go away with and think, oh, that was interesting. I'm going to be showing you information. I'm going to be giving you skills that you can see. The proof is always in the tasting and the eating. The proof of the pudding, tasting and eating. So I'm going to be giving you valuable skills that you can see, practical tools that you can use, and hopefully get you thinking a totally different way about who you are and where you are right now. Obviously, the level of information that you can give in a short period of time is limited, but just learning about the numbers in a month and how they correlate with you and how they correlate with your family members is absolutely invaluable.
Absolutely amazing. And as I said, obviously, make sure that you get yourself registered free of charge for the summit. Everyone that registers will be getting as well the offers from our speakers. So you'll be getting an email and some more information about how you can access those amazing opportunities as well. So I'd like to thank you, Psio, for your time today and for meeting with me in advance of the summit. I'm looking forward to welcoming you back at the summit, and also everyone else that is watching, please make sure to also like and share this video if you think that other people might be interested in this particular topic from Psio as well. And I look forward as well to welcoming you back as well with the other speakers I will be broadcasting over the next couple of weeks. So have an amazing evening. Again, thank you so much, Psio, for making the time to come here and speak to me, and I look forward to seeing you on the 12th of March.
Absolutely. Looking forward to the 12th. Take care, everyone.
Take care. Bye-bye.